We're really keen to get as many people physically active on the water as possible. That can be anyone, any age, doesn't matter what their background, what their experience is. Actually, we just want everyone to be able to enjoy the water as much as possible.
I think in 2050 the Thames will be a cleaner environment, it will have been modernised, it will still retain all its historical sites, it will become, and still is, the icon of London, the centre of London, the reason why people come to London. But I think we will see changes in how the boats are operated, how piers are run, and the general atmosphere that you have on the riverbanks.
My vision is pretty simple as a walker, and that is to get more people making more visits to the banks of the Thames.
In 2050, I'd like to imagine the river is yet more vibrant than it is at the moment. It's a more dynamic river environment. It's used more for fishing or paddleboarding. People are living beside it. People are enjoying walking and resting by it and understanding its heritage too. It's a more central part of London's vibrant life.
I think there's so much variety on the water, so you can do anything from paddleboarding to walking on the estuary to maybe getting on a boat for the first time. There's just so much that you can get involved in, either as a family, as an individual. And for us, I think it's really important also to mention the benefits of the water for your mental health as well.
The Thames is the centre of London. It's the very reason why London is here. And it's something, not only is it a transport network for London, it's also an attraction for London. And that needs to be respected by all of the authorities. They need to look after the Thames, look after the riverbank and the infrastructure that's needed to keep the boat operators in existence.
I think new developments, so the England Coast Path is joining the Thames National Trail at Woolwich, and that has actually introduced a whole new stretch of pathway of 40 miles, so there's a new place to visit. But I think there's lots of things you can do in between about making it accessible to people by sort of saying to them, you don't have to walk 5 miles all the time, you can do it in a couple of miles.
So for me, the river is about, it's about industry, but it's also about play. It's about heritage, but it's also about culture, and I love that mix.
I think there's such an opportunity to showcase there is formal activity on the water, there's informal activity on the water, and there's so many different ways that people can be involved, from volunteering to taking part in the sport or just socially coming down and having a good time.
I think we have to change our view of the Thames, whereas the Thames has always been about maritime and so has the riverbanks. It's actually, we need diversity of commercialisation of the riverbanks, so that attracts people. They should be vibrant places, piers should be vibrant places, not just the current bus stops that we have at the moment.
I think there's a great opportunity to get as many people involved in water sports, whether that's through volunteering, through coaching, through participating themselves, but really just showcasing maybe some of the great sports clubs that we already have on the water and encourage others to get down here and start something up maybe that they really are passionate about to support their local community.
I think by 2050 we should have a collective group that have a common goal, and those goals are realistic. They can be afforded by the people that need to make the changes. There's a lot of pressure coming on boat companies to make changes which, quite frankly, are not affordable in the current circumstances. But by 2050 we need a common goal that we're all working towards, and we need to bring more people onto the Thames so that those changes can be affordable.
We're standing here on the Thames Path National Trail. That's sort of under the management of the National Trail Board, but it's also part of Greenwich here. So they're responsible for making sure the path is open and signed. It's, I think, getting all those things that worked, organisations to work together in that way.
I can only talk about what we're doing at City Cruises, and our current tests of HVO fuel are proving to be very, very successful. We also see that being a step to going to more hybrid engines, electricity and HVO, with ultimately then moving to a hydrogen situation or yet another fuel which has not come into common practice at the moment.
We have the Active Thames partnership, which brings together lots of strategic partners, are all passionate about encouraging water sports, and we need to be making sure that we're working together going forward to change a system and get as many people as possible to engage in sports.
By 2050, we need to all have a common goal that's realistic and affordable to all the boat operators. There's a lot of pressure coming on boat operators to change their infrastructure, to change their engines, to moving to zero emissions. We at City Cruises are already trialling HVO fuel, and that's proving to be successful.
Shared vision is vital, absolutely vital. It has to be at the heart of everything that happens on the river. It's so complex, there's so many different players, there's so many different interests, but I think if we're all going in the same direction, wow, what a future we've got together.